Are you a cannabis grower who knows what they're doing? Are you looking for a one-stop shop for all things cannabis lighting? Then check out DutchLightingInnovations.com. On our website, you can learn more about our newest UV technology, which allows us to grow stronger, even better terpene profiles while reducing microbial growth. DutchLightingInnovations.com has all your lighting needs, from HPS to CMH to LED and UV. Lights of the highest quality for growers who know what they're doing. Designed, engineered, and made in Holland. Your one-stop shop for all things cannabis, DutchLightingInnovations.com. You can learn more about our newest UV technology. At DLI, we have decades in experience in both commercial and hobby horticulture. As a result, our engineers have developed a brand new range of horticultural lighting products that combine with the tried and tested manufacturing techniques of the existing commercial lighting products with a modern manufacturing process. As a result, we've created a comprehensive line of horticultural lighting products that are designed to enhance user experience and produce better results. That's DutchLightingInnovations.com.
All throughout history, the term stoner has been used a lot. In common usage, it refers to the guilty, the derelict, and the unsavory. The Oxford Dictionary redefines stoned as a state where you have lost your ability to behave or think normally caused by a drug like marijuana or alcohol. I find that to be unacceptable. Welcome to the Daily Chronicles. Here we talk to different types of stoners from all walks of life. So roll up, load up your bongs, ready up that dab, and tune in as we speak the truth about the stigma. This is the Daily Chronicles.
Hi, tokers, jokers, and smokers. Welcome back to a special edition of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. Today, my guest... Oh man, where to begin? We talked a little bit, backstage, as we talk, quite often, y'all, without any other further ado, CHEF Beverly Torrez-Petty. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Oh yeah. I
appreciate being here.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you, taking a few seconds to come on. I'm absolutely enamored with everything that you do. That is the truth. I think it's the coolest thing. It's exquisitely punk rock, and that's, it really perfectly encapsulates who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's more to Chef. I don't want to say Chef Petty because that's kind of, but Chef Torres-Petty than one might think, and that's the truth. And I wanted to hurry up and take a chance, and kind of dive into a few things with you. And I love it, man. Flipped out cuisine, ever since fusion, ever since I heard about that, it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. Where did you start cooking?
Well, that was the idea, right? Not a lot of people are familiar with Asian food. They're, familiar with Chinese food. They're familiar with Japanese food, but, there's that whole, little underbelly of Asian food that, comes from food carts and little hole-in-the-wall restaurants, family-run, little spots that I seem to enjoy more. So we try to focus mostly on Filipino food, which is, where I grew up, and my mother's Filipino, and Vietnamese, Thai, and Korean food. A lot of people that, I grew up with, being an Air Force brat, we were able to experience different types of cuisines that, we don't usually find in the restaurant, because these are things that, mothers are cooking for their kids and
passed down.
Right, exactly. And, they're not, things that people are familiar with. And my goal was to kind of introduce them to these foods and kind of educate people on, different things, even though it looks funny, or, isn't something you've ever heard of, or it's something that, your family throws away, doesn't necessarily mean it's not food and it's not great food. So that's, kind of where, I wanted people to understand that, that, it's not just what you see on TV or what you see in the restaurant. There's a whole another level, multiple different levels of all cuisine, really, that, we're not familiar with because it's not what's popular, so that's where I kind of came from, growing up in an area where I was able to experience these different types of food and recreate them in a way that, people were more familiar with.
Hey, and I couldn't have encapsulated the ideas of passion and love, any more intricately, really. I mean, the truth behind it, let's go back to, the parts and bits and pieces that people wouldn't necessarily call food. Look at any good stock. If you want any good,
right.
Stock, it's the knuckles, it's the, the bendable bits, the cartilage, and,
right.
and you were like, oh no way, yeah way, that's the truth of it, and as barbaric as it seems, the inside, the bone marrow, that's delicious.
Right. Absolutely.
It is. Foie gras, brutal as shit, but for the longest time it was illegal in America because of how it's made, for the duck. Look at a steak,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think it might be illegal again in California, the foie. It was fine for a little while, and then I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more, it was illegal, and they had to use code words in the city in order to have that particular dish. And then it became, legal again, and now it's illegal, and it is barbaric, and it's not, necessarily a nice procedure, but, they've been doing it for hundreds of years, in other countries where, again, we just don't understand, and we don't, we haven't grown up on it. There's plenty of things that here in America that people eat on a daily that is gross to other people, but for some reason,
Rocky Mountain oysters. I mean, that's
right.
If I've eaten anything gross, it was those. I didn't even fit one bite, and I was just gagging.
I can imagine that. Probably not even smelling very pleasant either.
No, that's the point. That's why I was, because you always smell something right before you taste it. It's all part of tasting it, and and chefs will fuck with that. This better than I do, but that's the point. You always smell it before you go to, and it was just like, and I was like already barfing, and it's just like, I gotta swallow. It is no, we're not gonna go back to that. We're gonna promptly move on from that. But no, flipped out Filipino fusion. You did that for a number of years. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, not to name drop or anything, but I do believe Gordon Ramsay visited you there.
Oh, well, no.
Or was that
he
somewhere
didn't
else?
visit me there at the restaurant. he was actually doing a Hotel Hell across the street from the restaurant that I was working at the time. And, you know, his sous chef kept coming over, borrowing ingredients, you know, because we do live in a pretty rural, tiny town here, right in the Sierra foothills, and there, you know, you're not finding, you know, cornichons or, you know, anything that, you know, on a higher end menu you'd be able to just go to the store and get, you know, these. It takes a while. So, you know, I obviously placed my order correctly, and he came. All week he was, you know, borrowing this or that, and, you know, and I told him, finally I told him, like, look, man, I still gotta, you know, keep this restaurant open and feeding people, you know. And I'm just gonna say they did take a lot of our menu items and, you know, kind of tweaked them a little bit and then called them their own, which really irritated me because, you know, we live in this little tiny town and you work so hard to, you know, come up with this unique menu that no one is doing, you know, the way we were doing it. And then to have, you know, Gordon Ramsay's team come in and recreate all your dishes. It's like, oh man, now what? So it prompted me to write a new menu, which, you know, that needs to happen once in a while too. So
just gotta
it was kind of a blessing in disguise. Yeah, you know, and then, you know, it was my day off and I went in to do the order. I was on my way out of town, as a matter of fact, and, you know, the sous chef comes up and says, you know, Gordon, which, you know, it's strange to me as chef, right, wanted to, you know, eat at the restaurant. So what do? You know, I called the whole crew in and they came in and we cooked dinner for him, and he was pretty happy about it. He seemed to enjoy it. I didn't get yelled at.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
You didn't get called a fucking donkey, you know, so.
No, he actually kissed me a couple of times, like on the face. You know, I think that's just some kind of English thing.
Right.
You know, and you know, he made me laugh a couple of times for sure. But you know, it went over swimmingly. You know, it was really cool for this little tiny town to, you know, have a chef come in, and he is somebody that I do respect. I mean, obviously not the name calling and the yelling, but this is something we've done forever, right? Like we're used to hearing this. So when people ask me, oh, was he rude? Was he, you know, yelling at you? It's like, man, it's not like that. You know, it's all for the money. It you know, it's all for the views and for the you know, people don't see it every day, so they like to see somebody else get, you know, yelled at and pushed around a little bit. So I think that's where the popularity of the show came from, honestly. But
yeah, I agree. At the same time, like, I know his history. I know who knit you. You know where he came from, and for that I'll respect him. But, you know, that toxic chef mentality, that's kind of going out the window. You know,
right? Absolutely. Well,
but at the same time, mad respect to him. You know.
Yeah, you know, and that whole way of thinking, yes, it's gone out the window. But, you know, we may be the last of the breed that you know, was treated that way, and the generation, so to speak, of chefs that are changing that. You know, and I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to not feel like working 100 hours a week as a line cook, getting your ass kicked all the time, you know, as being, you know, a badge of honor. You know, I mean, it's great that you can do that, but at the same time, we shouldn't be expected to do that. And for so many years, we were. So I'm glad to be part of that change.
You know, I find that inside doing that, it's kaji, I want to say. It's Japanese. It's kind of the reason you do things. You know, I've started to really look into that. Passion and love, two, you know, synonymous things that are in food, you know, but it's not necessarily the passion or the love, and that's why we do it. But we're creating a culture, and that is the truth. So much so that it's sought after, you know, of people that are, let's say, it's sought after everybody, truth be told. But the majority of people have tried to create this fine dining Michelin quality, and that only lasted for so long. I love the fact that us rebels, us bands of miscreants have kind of re-evolved and taken that back. So much so that Noma shut down recently and was like, "Oh, that fine scale dining doesn't work." Well, it doesn't work. What the fuck do you mean it doesn't work? You got to pay your people. That's the truth. If they can't afford to live in the restaurant, they're not going to want to be around it. That's the truth. And so,
absolutely.
I kind of have noticed you kind of, pushing this rebellious, fire, if you will, this passion forward in your life, So talking of rebellious things, weed, it makes the world go round. It really does. But
yeah.
Calco Gardens, let's jump to that real quick. Where did the idea come from that? Calco Genetics on Instagram, y'all go check them out. They're rebuilding their shit. They got the band. But Calco Gardens, where did that come from?
It's actually a company, my husband's company. It's mostly genetics. I met him 26 years ago, and when I met him, he was growing 6 plants in his closet at his mom's house.
Damn.
Yeah, he was 19. I believe he started when he was 16, and we're well into our 40s now, and he's been growing and not smoking. He's never smoked cannabis. He tried consuming it for a little while. He's having some gut issues, so he was trying some oil that I made, which helped him a little bit. But obviously, he's not doing that anymore. So he, his goal was to find the prettiest, best smelling flower that he could find, and basically, crossbreeding them into other plants that he liked, finding the right qualities that he's looking for, and he came up with this brand that has been in many people's gardens since then. He's got the company Calco Genetics on Instagram. He's got menus there. This one here that I'm smoking on is one of my favorites. It's cherry pie with MDB UDP. So
I like
cherry pie. Yeah, one of my favorites is cherry pie, and then $1 Million Baby, which is also his strain that is a cherry pie crossed to forum cut cookies. So there's a heavy cherry pie in this, which is why I love it a lot. And then of course the Granddaddy Purple for some color and some smell there. But and then he's got his seeds. He's got Tush Mints crossed with his blueberry syrup, which is blueberry crossed with his cherry pie. He's got Paradise Pie, which is the cherry pie clone to Blue Hawaiian, which is also one of his strains that he created. Gosh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I do believe there's Kona. Oh, there it is, Kona Sunset crossed to blueberry syrup. So again, he a lot of these are his creation, ones that he will.
He bred together, right, for certain outcomes.
He'll find the best. Yeah, he'll find the best characteristics, and then breed those together, and come up with something amazing. The photos are there on his Instagram. The flowers are just beautiful. He does such a great job. Again, everything's all organic. He doesn't put anything funky in there, and he's dedicated a lot of his life to researching and growing, and successes and failures, just like we all do, and when we're being creative, and
it's a journey.
And unfortunately outside things prevent us from doing what we getting the outcome we want every time. But it's all about growth, and he's been doing this for a long time. I'm quite proud of him. for coming this far. You know, not a lot of people can say that, you know, they're in thousands of gardens across the country, you know.
Yeah, that's a silent flex that not even many would understand, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of things that not many would understand, take me back to that first time you tried the devil's lettuce as an ingredient. You know, take me back to that punk rock, you know, version of Bev back in the day, the first time. You know, what happened? Like, I'm curious. I feel like you probably did it to fit in, and then it just kind of stuck.
No, you know what? I've always been kind of a loner, you know. I never really hung out with too many people, you know, but then you have those friends that, you know, they're like, hey, try this. You know, it's always that, hey, try this, you know. And of course, I mean, I think I was 14 at the time. I was pretty young. You know, standing out on the corner, which wasn't the smartest idea, standing on the corner of a neighborhood party that was, you know, just going off, and we're standing on the corner smoking a joint, you know, and we didn't think, we were obviously very dumb, but yeah, you know, it was kind of that thing where it's like you were smoking weed outside, you know. Yeah, we were. You know, and, you know, it just kind of stuck. You know, it was something that I did, you know, recreationally for fun, you know, once in a while. But, you know, when I met my husband, then that was it. It was a daily thing for me. And, you know, as a matter of fact, the funniest thing was, one of the first things he ever gave me was some weed. We were at work. We met
girls like flowers. Let me be honest with you, man.
It's true. And I told him, don't ever buy me those flowers. Just, I'm happy with these flowers. But it was funny because, you know, we worked at Michael's Arts and Crafts store. And he worked in the framing department, and I was a cashier. And he was, you know, I mean, he was 19 and I was 21. So it's not a big difference, but when you're talking about drinking age and not drinking age, it seems to be a bigger difference, you know. So I was like, oh, this kid, you know, he's trying to hit on me or whatever. And he, you know, comes up to me and he, you know, he's like, hey, you want some weed? And I was like, I mean, first he made a comment about my my butt. I had a patch, a butterfly patch on my butt, because this is like, you know, early, you know, mid 90s. So you know,
something bringing attention to it. He wasn't just straight to ass. Okay.
Right, exactly. Right. You know, he's like, nice butterfly, you know, and I'm like, this kid, what the fuck? So, you know,
I mean, its icebreaker was a pun right off the bat. Legit.
And he says to me, you want some weed? I said, you know, and who, you know,
followed up by a salesperson. You want some weed? Just straight up. All right, sorry. This is what they trade us for in dairy, y'all. This is what they trade us for in dairy. All right, I'm so sorry.
I haven't talked about this in a long time, but he, you know, he said, you want some weed? And of course, you know, I'm 21, and I have an apartment with my brother, and, you know, and we just partied all the time. And of course I said yes. And I think he came over that night and basically really never left. Like, he just kind of hung out. And I never told him to leave. I never wanted him to leave, you know, and that was it. You know, here we are 26 years later. You know, it's been pretty rocky, but, you know, here we are. We've been arrested together twice.
Ooh, there you go. That's some Sid and Nancy shit right there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're felons. You know, but it's only because we grew too much weed.
That's it. And listen, the most dangerous thing about weed is getting caught with it.
Absolutely. And, you know, the first time we got in trouble, I think we did 7 days until we got OR'd, because, you know, we've never been in trouble. We're not, right, you know, troublemakers.
They're going to teach you a lesson or something, right?
Yeah. We ended up doing drug diversion. This was in 97. And so we did drug diversion, and they, that was it. And then in 05, we got like actually raided, where they straight came at the door with a battering ram, because weed smokers are so dangerous and violent.
We weren't even home. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we were home. It was in the morning. It was right before I had to go to work. And this is what I love about kitchen jobs, is you can call them. And I spoke with the sous chef, and I said, I don't think I'm going to make it today. And he says, why? What's up? And I was like, I just got raided. And he tells me, well, just keep in touch. Let us know. We've got it under control.
Right.
And that was the best thing ever, And the first time I worked at a doctor's office, and the doctor swore that I had gotten set up and really wanted to bail me out. And I was like, that is the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
Cool. That's cool.
But it's only because he thought I was being set up. I don't know how you get set up with, 100 baby plants growing in your spare bedroom, but
that's a forest, but I don't know, But listen,
it's so funny.
We were talking a little bit about, in the green room, and for the last week or so, trying to pull this together. Dunbar House Inn, that's kind of where your knife is at now. That's where you find yourself, at this part of your career, How do you feel about, smoking a joint and cooking there? Like, what is it about the Dunbar House Inn that keeps you going there? Besides a paycheck, obviously, you know what I'm saying? That's obvious. But like, why do you find yourself there?
Really, because it's close to home. My 2-minute commute is really hard to beat. They take really good care of me there. They really, they do care. It's a little mom and pop little place. The owner, I've worked for him on and off for about 10 years. He used to own the restaurant, which is why I'm here in the first place in this area. I came to work there as a sous chef, became the chef, and then moved on from there. But I always came back and always to the Dunbar House. It's super easy. I hate saying that, but I'm almost 50 years old, and the last 20 some years of being in that hot ass kitchen, running like we do. I feel like I've done my time. It's time for me to chill. And I can do fun things. I could do whatever I want. They leave me alone. They know at this point in my career, I'm not going to risk my reputation, what I've built so far to, and not produce and not perform the way they want me to. Or I would like to as well, I have they give me a lot of freedom. They when they have caterings or special things that are at the Dunbar House that they need a chef for. Obviously, I'm the one.
Creative freedom, right?
Right, absolutely, and again, they just treat me so well. It's really hard to find a place that recognizes what you do, pays you accordingly, and really does care about you and your health and your well-being. So and again, that's really why I'm there right now. And I get to have as much fun as I want to or not. I can make fresh bread if I want. I can change the menu whenever I want. I can do the specials that I want, and and I really don't have any pushback or any kind of criticism that we get sometimes being in the restaurant, because it is, it's a bread and breakfast. People are expecting something special, not something that they can get every day. So
I feel that. Fun. I mean, I've noticed that in your story alone, it's one of passion and love. Synonymously, the two walk hand in hand. With a multitude of other, explanatives, but I've noticed that it's kind of guiding you along. Your background being Filipino, of course, a lot of passion, a lot of love on the food. You can tell. Moving forward to the Calco Gardens, meeting your husband, you know what I'm saying? Of course you would meet a person who can grow weed, so very serendipitous. And then you move, you find yourself, in the Dunbar House Inn, which is very close to home. Now, love and passion and weed, all of that's close to home. That's a trifecta of just living, an amazing punk rock, very, avant-garde, fucking life there. I do have one question to kind of tie that all up before I want to get to why we're having this today. I started asking my guests about a specific lie of their life, and now I'll explain. I've explained it a few different ways now, but we all lie. Let's be honest. We've lied about dumb shit. We've lied about important shit. We're only human. And to further push that narrative, to kind of like humanize things, I ask my guests, what's one lie that you've told in your life throughout your entire life, looking at your life 180 degrees from where you're at now? What's one lie that you have told and gotten away with, but you shouldn't have?
My very second kitchen job was at Chateau du Sirop, the Elderberry House in Oakhurst, and I mean it was kind of a big deal. When I was in culinary school, it was like one of those ones where everybody wanted to get their stage at, and
right.
Everybody wanted to go work there. Right. And I had started working at, a little higher end restaurant in Fresno called Max's Bistro. And they let me do kind of what I wanted. And, I was creating desserts before I was even done with culinary school, which was really cool. And when I started, I was gonna apply at the Elderberry House, but I didn't think I was good enough. I was just started out, and these people were doing these high end, really, like a Relais Chateau style situation, and I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't lie. I just kind of exaggerated a little bit, and as far as my experience went, and also when I showed up for my interview, I wore a chef coat because I had this giant tattoo that I had one of my first big tattoos, and I knew that they weren't going to be cool with it. This was the early 2000s, where it was still kind of, but it's, it's the kitchen. Nobody cares, except for they did. And luckily I'd wore that. I got the job. Everything was cool until I walked into the kitchen without a chef coat on. And oh man, I heard it from the chef at the time. That he wouldn't have hired me if he knew I had that tattoo, and that the owner wouldn't have been cool with it, but so that's the kind of a lie that, I don't care that I got caught,
right?
But I did get caught, and that's most of the things, you just kind of gotta not care if you're gonna lie, because if you're gonna lie about something super important,
right?
You know what I mean?
Like,
you're gonna care a lot.
Lying for the police,
right? Exactly.
Fuck them.
You gotta be okay with telling that lie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, and that really is best I got right now in my brain.
Listen, that's it works. It's a great fucking lesson. It's a great fucking story, And
then after that, that's when she found out. The owner found out that I was on the bracelet for 6 months, for that second growing violation. So I was on the bracelet for 6 months, and I had to hide it. We were doing cooking classes for people who were paying, hundreds of dollars a day to take these cooking classes, and they're being taught by, some tattooed girl with a ankle monitor on. And she actually, the owner actually asked me if my tattoos were gang tattoos. As I have one tattoo. Actually, at that point, I had 3, and 2 of them. One of them was Jack Skellington and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. So she asked me if my tattoos were gang tattoos. I thought that was pretty funny.
I would have leaned into it. I've been like, they are now. I just left her with that.
She's not. She wasn't a very she wasn't that fun.
She was
at that
straight
point.
edge and rigid, huh?
Oh God, she was very Austrian in her 80s. No, I shouldn't say that. She's probably in her 70s or 60s at the time. But yeah, I still consider her a mentor to this day. She was very judgy in the way she was, but again, she was very supportive. When she realized, that we're not all stoners aren't all bad, Man, maybe I shouldn't be saying her name and shit on this.
I didn't hear her name.
I did say it, but I hope
Well, I didn't catch it, and I think that everybody that watches this smokes weed. They didn't catch it either, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, good.
I'll find it and bleep it out.
I have the utmost respect for her to this day. I follow her on Instagram. She's got this beautiful life, and it's like, dang, I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque.
Well, we've come to that time of the episode where, I want to talk about what's currently going on. I want to explain what people see scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. This we see is the Cancer Sucks Balls GoFundMe for our friend Bev here. Bev, when I heard, that you got diagnosed, dude, it sucked. It's not something you want to hear for your friends and people that you like and shit like that. But at the same time, you're so fucking upbeat about it. Like, you really are. You don't let it get you down. You're like, fucking, here we go. Just another fucking Tuesday, right? But let's get a little more into it. Like, what was going through your head? Like, what happened?
It super sucks, a lot of my family has, died from this terrible disease. I know that, I'm not the only one. I know that they're not the only ones. I mean, this happens to millions of people every day. But, I basically, at the end of November, felt a lump. Ladies, do a self-examination. Do it. I haven't done it in a long, long time, and something told me to do it. It's very strange. I mean, and it's super easy. It's free. You don't have to even do anything special. There should be a bunch of tutorials on YouTube on how to do it. So there's no excuse for women to not do this.
Rub your boobs.
Yeah, absolutely do it. I mean, unless you don't want to know, and that's your prerogative too. Hey, to each his own. Taking a shower, I felt it and was like, oh shit. Again, because of the strong family history, my sister had been diagnosed with breast cancer, 4 or 5 years ago. She went through chemo, had a double mastectomy, was cancer-free. A couple of years later, she started getting these headaches, went to the doctor and found out she has stage 4 bone cancer. And that's when they realized that it's a BRCA gene, which is, I guess we all have a BRCA gene, and it is a gene that fights and kills tumors, cancers, etc. Well, she had a mutation of it, which was at that point pretty rare. So they wanted my brothers and I to get checked, and of course we didn't. So when she was fighting the bone cancer, they found 10 or more tumor or black spots on her liver, which they believed to be tumors. They never got as far as to like do surgery or anything like that on it because she was, fighting the bone cancer, and then she was not doing well, so she was admitted to the hospital, and she passed away. I believe it was 3 days after my birthday, my 48th birthday, which at this point, I had the biopsy. I might be getting my days mixed up, but within that week, I had my biopsy day after my birthday, and then found out my sister had passed away. And then the next day after she had passed away, I got my results back that said I was positive for breast cancer. So since then, they put this lovely little port in my chest so it's like right under this tattoo, which I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty hard to see, but it's like a lump right there. There's a lot of skin glue on it right now, but so to make it easier for them to give me IVs, transfusions, medicine, whatever. So yeah, it's not fun. It's not a walk in the park. I had MRIs. The biopsy sucks. They told me it wasn't supposed to hurt. Bullshit. Don't believe them. It hurts. It hurts. This shit sucked too. But yeah, what do? You just gotta get it done, right? I mean, there's people, like I said, I'm not the only one. There's people who are in a worse physical health than I am in right now, and they're going through it and have been through it. And there's people who are, survive and are doing fantastic, So, I'm not in the worst position ever, So, all you can do is, fight this thing and not be a statistic,
Mm-hmm. And that's punk rock as fuck.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I mean, you've come this far, you haven't come this far only to come this far, and
right.
Cancer sucks balls. It's sad that we now understand that dying of old age doesn't happen. It's cancer or something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of fucked as people, man. But listen, for anybody who wants to donate to her GoFundMe, it's scrolling at the bottom. It's that awkward, weird number. Please go check it out. Donate $1, donate 50 cents, whatever you got, man. We can't let her fight this alone. I'm not going to let her fight this alone. We're going to do what we can do, because that's what you do, man. When someone in the kitchen goes down, you pick them right the fuck back up. You dust them off if you can. You keep them fighting. That's just it. Everybody wants to die in the kitchen with a blade in their hand, right? Well, that's what you're going to get. That's the way I see it.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, I mean, it's how do you deal with something like that? You just keep moving forward, and that's, I can't say anything more to it. Holy fuck, here you are doing it. That's tough as shit, girl.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you can do with, the support of your family, and, great dog, friends. And
the dog's the MVP, by the way.
What's that?
I said your dog is the MVP, by the way.
she's dope. She's the best ever. But she's been sitting right here next to me this whole time.
It is.
But yeah, you know, and like I said, friends and, you know, even strangers have been donating, which is pretty rad to me, that, you know, not only, you know, only that people take the time out of their day to, you know, drop a couple words of, you know, encouragement or, you know, positive vibes, you know, anything like that, you know, not only makes your day, but, you know, only even in this tough time that everybody's going through right now, you know, with eggs being $10 a dozen, you know, there's people who are, you know, donating, but, you know, and it's so much appreciated. And, you know, it's crazy how much these things cost, even with, you know, insurance, and even with, you know, the help that, I don't know if, you know, see, there's another thing, you know, disability, and then there's, you know, all these things that, you know, need to get done, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So, you know, when you're able to kind of have a little peace of mind that, you know, this bill's going to get paid, or, you know, can stop working when I'm not feeling good, you know, and have that, like I said, peace of mind, really means a lot. And, like I said, I'm going to work up until I can't, but, you know,
Hell yeah.
that's what we do, right? I mean,
that's exactly what we do.
Yeah. So, but everything, you know, it's all appreciated. And I mean, I can't thank everyone, who's donated so far. I can't thank you guys enough. It does really mean a lot to me and my family.
Listen, we're going to push you, you know, if anything else, but, you know, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you opening up about it. You know, I always really wanted to get to know, you know, Calico, you know, where that came from, you know, flipped out infusions. Like the Gordon Ramsay story is my favorite. Sorry, I fucked it up, you know, but at the same time, I appreciate you coming on. I really do.
Yeah. And I thank you for, you know, having me on. You know, I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm glad we finally can, you know, connect and get it done.
Absolutely. I mean, it'll be under better circumstances here soon. But hey, stick around after the credits. I got something for you. But all my tokers, my jokers, my smokers, we're gonna catch you guys on the flip, y'all. Peace.
Thank you.